Media Matters put together a compilation of how Fox News treated Muslims in 2013.
This is exactly how it started in Europe. Immigration, allowing them to come in carte blanche to European countries in the 60s to allow them to work. They stayed. Their kids are becoming radicalized. We are at risk of the same thing.
Well, the minority becoming the majority at one community pool. Sharia law is now changing everything. A YMCA in Minneapolis, St. Paul is starting a swim group for Muslim girls, but special considerations have to be made to keep with their religious beliefs.
These people live to kill us. They live to attack us. They live to horrify us. And when people pull back, that's exactly what they want.
And therefore, I think that we ought to be very selective in allowing any Muslim or future Chinese students in here.
Hans and Sven are not on the FBI's most wanted list.
So they looked at the Quran and said, grab a meat cleaver and hack somebody up? Fantastic.
I think it's time for profiling, though, don't you, Ange? I think it's time for profiling because
I
the
do.
profile has been Middle Eastern Muslims who have blown people up or attempted to blow people up over the last 15 years.
Let me make it clear. I don't have a problem with profiling. I think Pete King, the congressman who's the head of the House Terror Subcommittee, when he talks about that the police have to get in and infiltrate the Muslim community, I completely agree with that.
I think that we should be able to put in listening devices in there. Is that possible?
No.
No Muslim students coming here with visas. No more mosques being built here until you stand up and denounce what's happened in the name of your prophet.
They're openly telling us they want to take over the country. They're openly committing treason. They're openly Islamifying areas. And it has to end. And that's what we're saying. It's like you don't keep adding to the problem.
Well,
but, yeah.
Well, Tommy, we got your back, and we'll definitely look to keep in touch. And I really think it's it's great what you're doing.
If we burn down your mosque here, you'd be really upset.
Now, you guys know me. I have no problem attacking Islam, Christianity, or any religion because I think they're all false and really, really dumb. But Fox News has a problem, as you can see there. It's that they paint with too broad of a brush when they're attacking Islam, and they also have a problem with consistency. So if one Muslim does something bad, they immediately jump to all Muslims are guilty by default and we're going to kick them out of America and no more mosques should be allowed to be built in the United States, even though according to our Constitution, you have freedom of religion and you can't just unilaterally decide they can't build mosques. But that's the kind of stuff that they do. It's this sloppy thinking when it comes to Muslims that if one person does something, then they're all guilty. Now, does the same thing happen with Christians on Fox News? So, for example, if a Christian terrorist does something, do they say that we should kick all Christians out of the country and that we shouldn't allow people to build any more churches? Ha 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 ha! It's funny. No, they don't do that. They would never do that. And to give a few examples here, Anders Breivik, the person who shot up all those kids, I believe it was in Norway, he was a Christian terrorist. It said in his manifesto, I'm a Christian terrorist, or, I'm Christian. Abortion clinic bombings, clear examples of Christian terrorism. Ask Dr. George Tiller what he knows about that. Oh, wait, you can't because he was killed by a Christian terrorist. The Sovereign Citizens Movement is another example, Christian terrorists. The KKK, Christian terrorists. I can go on and on. In fact, according to the Department of Homeland Security, 56% of the terrorist incidents in the United States are right-wing terrorist attacks. Now, you've never heard that before, have you? Or if you've heard it from a progressive outlet. You certainly have not heard it from Fox News. You certainly have not heard it on the mainstream media. Because it's politically incorrect to speak the truth and to say the actual violence, by and large, in the United States is coming from right-wing terrorist groups, Christian terrorist groups. But this gets no discussion on Fox while they'll pile on Muslims all day long. And think about the coverage of Muslims compared to mass shootings in America, for example. I mean, whenever there's a mass shooting, they say, it's par for the course, this is just what happens, look away, we can't do anything to change it, gun laws have to stay the same, if anything, you loosen gun laws, but they'll cover it briefly and then move on very fast. If an incident happens with a Muslim, they'll harp away on it for weeks and blame the entire Muslim community. If a white, disaffected teenager, male, goes on a shooting spree, they try to brush it under the rug. But wait a second, if you supposedly care about violence and people getting hurt, then shouldn't you be equally outraged in both circumstances, no matter what the root of the violence is? Shouldn't you try to fix the problem in both circumstances? But they don't. They only care about it if it's Muslim violence. They don't care about it if it's white male violence.